start being a bit more positive now, and let's see what we might do about these problems. What can we actually do to improve the situation? One thing we tried to do in the Optimum Population Trust here in the UK is we worked with the all-party parliamentary group on population development and reproductive health to produce this document as a result of hearings, taking evidence from all the relevant quarters in these discussions. In other words, environmental NGOs, development NGOs, everybody. And the conclusion was, you see there, that the evidence is overwhelming. The SDGs, the Millennium Development Goals, which I'm just going to list for you, are difficult or impossible to achieve with the current levels of population growth in the least developed regions. You can see this, if you wish, at the website you see there at the bottom. Goal number 1, let us eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Well, what's the family planning component of that? Too many people to share the resources of the country or the family will obviously increase poverty. Goal number 2, achieve universal primary education. The family planning component of that is obvious when you realize that because of inadequate resourcing of contraception in the world and the huge increase in humans all the time, 2 million extra teachers are needed every year just to maintain the same abysmal 50% primary education level in a continent like Africa, and even then with class sizes of 40 or more. So again, family planning would help in that delivery of education. Let's look at the next 3 goals. Promote gender equality and empower women. WHO have reported that has said to the hearings that women's ability to control their fertility is not the only factor in promoting gender equality and empowerment, but it is the first and the most important step for this to happen. What about child mortality? Plenty of evidence there that the 4 twos cause increasing child and indeed maternal mortality. What are the 4 twos? In terms of children, too many, too soon, too old, and too young. And in terms of child mortality, if you delay the second birth or third birth, when birth is spaced, you can reduce infant mortality by 60% or more. Why does my next slide show a jumbo jet? The reason is, as Martin Potts put it, every 6 hours, a jumbo jet of pregnant women crashes, killing everybody on board. 1 every minute, night and day. 41% of these are believed to be unwanted pregnancies. It's bad enough to die of a pregnancy you wanted, but to die of one you didn't want in the first place is doubly tragic. Prevention of all those unplanned pregnancies leading to abortion, many of which are unsafe, or else at full-term delivery, would reduce maternal mortality by 35%. Obviously, there are other interventions needed, like special drugs and equipment, but basically, as far as family planning is concerned, you can't die of a pregnancy you don't have, and that's a very good slogan. Poverty is the goal number 5, this is slide 43. Sorry, not poverty, the combating of HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, and diseases. And this is also affected by the arrival of more people. Diseases can spread more easily between people, and there is obviously a poverty component in disease, and we've already agreed that goal number 1 is impeded by ever more people every year. The 7th goal is the environmental one, and we need to ensure environmental sustainability, and there are many, many things there that can just stay on that slide, same slide. Ever more climate changes, speakers and having to have trashes. That's more of us humans. Another aspect of the environment is shortages. Shortages of water, shortages of energy. And I see those as being at bottom caused by knowledges of people wanting the resource. More reduction of usage per capita per person among the affluent 20% of countries and the affluent 20% elite of the poor countries is essential. But if we could have family planning even for the poor, that would mean fewer people to get out of poverty, and getting out of poverty has to cause damage to environment because you need energy to do that. So family planning benefits in those situations. Right, next slide. Reduced consumption. Is there an unmet need? No way. I try to cut audiences sometimes, and I ask them, hands up, those of you who would like to be less affluent than you are at present, and you don't get a forest of land going up. On the other hand, is there an unmet need for fewer consumers, in other words, for family planning? And the answer is actually yes. Here's the slide that shows it. What you have here is the percentage of married women who want no more than 2 children in a range of countries. And you can see that in all of them there's a pretty high percentage who don't want more than 2. And yet the actual total fertility rates for all these countries vary between 3 and 6. That gap between only wanting 2 and actually having family sizes of up to 6 is what we could deal with by simply meeting an unmet need. Next slide. Paul Ehrlich pointed out in 1970 that there are only 3 factors. Technology. Many people put great faith in that, but no scientist thinks it will be enough. I've already mentioned the limitations of green energy sources in that they are taking the energy of the sun in real time and not over thousands of years. And also they're so intermittent. The wind doesn't always blow, the sun doesn't always shine. So although people can be perhaps dragged kicking and screaming to reduce consumption, I submit no person actually wants to reduce consumption per person. So what are we left with? Technology is not enough. Reducing consumption is something people don't want to do, and it needs the poor need to increase to get out of poverty. So we're left just with the number of persons. And it's the cheapest option by a country mile. Look at the slide. It's only 17 billion in 1994 money that we need, whereas reversing climate change by other means is $73 trillion. A figure you just can't imagine. That's American dollars. So why is family planning so woefully under-resourced? Why is it a taboo? Why is it still the elephant in the room that no one talks about? There's an emerging myth out there that any quantitative concern about human numbers on a finite planet is intrinsically coercive or exclusive of other groups' critical concerns, especially poverty reduction and tackling overconsumption. The third myth is that it's always going to be anti-life and anti-babies. I submit that those of us in this room, and I suspect it's the majority, are perfectly capable of being worried about the numbers of humans on the planet, and yet simultaneously totally opposed to coercion. The problem, of course, is that there have been some coercive examples over the years, the Indira Gandhi campaign in India, the Chinese situation, and we have to dissociate ourselves from that. We also, I find certainly when you talk along these lines, people say to you, oh, you're going to give people, the poor people of the world, condoms and pills and injections, and you're not going to look after them, you're not going to take them on their health care and feed them properly. Why? If I say family planning as well, why can't it mean as well? And you can be simultaneously concerned about poverty reduction and also tackling overconsumption. As regards the third one, the anti-life, anti-babies thing, I could just say this.